How did Paddy Pimblett go from a rising star
The hype around this man is unbelievable.
to receiving hate over one weekend?
I'm forward knowing the UFC, haters gonna hate.
I did some research and found some surprising information.
Give me McGregor, I'll fucking smoke him.
I'm a failure. I'm an embarrassment to my family, my city, my team.
People think this is all shits and giggles, lad. It's not. This is my life.
Paddy Pimblett was born in 1995 and grew up in Liverpool. The city is famous for its football team and being the home of the Beatles. Liverpool is a hard-working city with many parents having multiple jobs to keep the lights on.
My mum works like 3 different jobs, lad. She cuts old people's hair and she does 12-hour shifts in a pub, and she's had other jobs as well.
Liverpool has a major problem with street crime, as young kids are becoming increasingly attracted to gang culture and carrying out organised crimes for adults. At the age of 14, Paddy had no father figure and could have easily turned to crime.
My dad wasn't always there. My dad was in and out of jail. It was hard, you know what I mean? It was. Not having a father figure all the time, but...
That was until he watched Diego Sanchez versus Clay Guida. They swung toe-to-toe in one of UFC's greatest fights of 2009. Instantly, Paddy was hooked, and he knew what he wanted to be when he was older.
What's your name?
Paddy Pimblett.
Okay, do you have a fight nickname?
My coach calls me Paddy the Paddy Pimblett.
Paddy the Paddy.
Yeah, my mum couldn't afford to pay £60 a month in the gym, so I had to sell sweets in school to pay for my gym and pay for my equipment.
His teachers discouraged him from training, calling him too small to be a fighter.
So I was trying to be an academic in school and that, but never ended up working out. Ended up getting kicked out and that.
This is when he started training full-time, which led to
The rise of Paddy the Paddy Pimblett.
the making of Paddy Pimblett began. Paddy swapped pencils for gloves as he began fighting in UK-based MMA promotions. Ever confident in his abilities in the cage, he had the self-belief that one day his journey would lead him to the UFC. After much hard work and success, Paddy got signed to Cage Warriors and made his debut in 2013 at the age of 18. Over the years, he listened to his coaches and became a well-rounded fighter, working on his jiu-jitsu, wrestling and boxing techniques. By the age of 21, he became the Cage Warriors champion, as he racked up an impressive record of 13 wins with 1 loss. He also became Liverpool's hometown hero. With his haircut, he had the style of Owen Hart, if he had an Amish barber. His unique look and carefree attitude made him an instant star within the UK scene. The same teachers who told Paddy he was too small for MMA invited him back to the school to speak to the kids about never giving up on their dreams. The submission specialist had the UFC on his radar with a big offer on the cards. Intriguingly, Paddy turned down the UFC. He opted to remain within Cage Warriors, training and preparing for longevity within the sport.
It's not a question of if they'll sign me, it's when. Just watch, wait and see.
By the time he eventually left Cage Warriors, he had completed 19 fights, became the Cage Warriors champion, and was the face of the organization. Paddy the Paddy Pimblett was ready to take the UFC by storm. He ignited his UFC debut with an impressive victory. The fight was against a striking specialist, Luigi Vendramini. Paddy began the first round unleashing kicks upon his opponent, who appeared to be looking for an early haymaker. Eventually, one of Vendramini's huge left hooks would land, but Paddy was able to withstand the power of the Brazilian and soon exploded with a flurry of vicious blows, knocking down his opponent. Paddy had left his mark and showed he had knockout power in his locker.
Send Luigi packing back to be a delivery boy in Brazil. This is what I was put on this earth to do, lad. Entertain people and beat people up. Let's get a show on in England, lad, and let's blow the roof off the gaff.
Paddy's second outing in the UFC showcased his array of talents in the cage. The Mexican Rodrigo Vargas was defeated via submission in round 1. A rear choke drew the curtains on the trash talk prior to the fight. Paddy continued his showmanship, bellowing to the crowd in true gladiator style. He continued to draw more attention through his impressive victories.
How good is Paddy?
Yeah, how good is he?
Paddy the Paddy is very authentic.
Yeah.
I think he's a very charismatic guy. He's got a weird style.
This kid is like legit fucking star power.
Because everyone knows I'm the boy, I'm the new kid on the block, and I'm the one that's getting the bums on seats.
Much of his focus has been on his second obsession, food. He has been known to pile on the pounds in between fights and makes no secret of it.
We've never seen a UFC fighter, let alone like a star, like celebrate putting on insane amounts of weight.
I wish I could eat like he ate. Doesn't work for 56, baby.
Get some wings down, you know.
I won't be able to shit for a week.
However, many professionals of the sport disapprove of his eating habits, as he adds on over 50 pounds of weight between fights.
Look guys, Paddy and the weight has to stop.
Throughout his UFC career, Paddy formed a special bond with a young fan named Baby Lee.
Baby Lee's got he's got a brain tumour and a few different illnesses, lad, and he's only 3. He's more of a warrior than I'll ever be, lad, more of a fighter than I'll ever be.
Paddy met Baby Lee through social media and invited him and his family to his gym. The pair had forged a bond as Baby Lee would give inspiration to Paddy. And before his 3rd fight in the UFC, Paddy received some devastating news.
I had to go to his funeral the other week, lad. It was hard, very hard. You shouldn't have to ever go to a 40-year-old's funeral. It's just something that no one should ever have to do. Especially his mum and dad, you know what I mean? You shouldn't have to bury your own child.
You know, if he was a billionaire's son, lad, probably would have been saved. But because he's just a kid from Liverpool, lad, no one's asked.
Paddy had a new dance partner for his 3rd fight, Jordan Levitt. Jordan came into the fight hopeful he could capitalize off the rising star power of Paddy. The main strength of the American was his wrestling. Paddy defeated well against Jordan's attempts to bring the fight to the ground. Various submission attempts were on display as Paddy looked to lock in a guillotine. However, Jordan prevailed. By round 2, Paddy was off to a menacing start. Fully aware of Jordan's single leg entries, Paddy responded with more elbows before landing a huge knee, which sparked a successful rear naked choke finish. It was the first time Jordan had been finished, let alone teabagged. However, it was his post-fight speech which caught the attention of millions from around the world.
Well, obviously, as everyone knows, I brought Baby Lee with me last time. He lost his battle a couple of weeks ago. He died at 4 years of age. And I had some other horrible news the other day. 5 hours before I was due to weigh in, I woke up and found out one of my mates himself. As I said there, I just wish lads would talk more. You know, women speak to each other all the time if you've got something on their head, but lads don't. They sit in and they bottle it up and they end up taking their own lives, something that they can't take back. Men just need to talk more, lad. Just need to get it off the chest.
Leading up to his fight with Jared Gordon, Paddy welcomed Dana White onto his podcast. The two had some harsh words for journalist Ariel Helwani.
I hate all these journalists, Ariel Helwani in particular. He uses fighters for clicks, and you're doing it for exposure. No, you're not. You're doing it to put money in your pocket, Ariel, you little rodent.
Woo! I just sat back and let that go. I didn't want to interrupt. He's a massive sack of is what he is.
This didn't go down well in the eyes of MMA fans. Many were disgusted with his attitude. It wasn't the ideal lead up to his biggest fight within the UFC. The opening round saw Paddy attempting to apply pressure to Gordon, who comfortably defended the onslaught, responding with powerful left hooks. Paddy left himself vulnerable, with his chin untucked and his fists low. Gordon was able to take full advantage and landed some successful shots. Paddy ended round 1 attempting a takedown, only to find Gordon on top. It was a tough round to score for the judges. In round 2, Paddy played to his strengths and nearly finished Gordon with a submission. The American was able to break free and responded with his trusty left hooks. The round became a back and forth battle, with both men trading blows. It seemed Gordon was taking control. However, the 3rd round failed to impress. It was a lackluster affair. Gordon slowed down the pace and held Paddy in a clinch for the majority of the round. Although Gordon inflicted little to no damage, he was in control of the final round. The judges scored the contest in Paddy's favour, with many in disagreement of the decision. Nonetheless, the rise of Paddy the Baddy Pimblett is largely reminiscent of the Irishman Conor McGregor. Although his popularity in the sport may have taken a hit, the combination of trash talking of Ariel Helwani and the decision win over Jared Gordon have divided fans. Whether that will affect his following in the long run is soon to be revealed. Questions have indeed arisen as whether Paddy has what it takes to become a champion. It seems a little premature, but if the last fight was any reflection, then it looks like it will be a tough feat to accomplish. Whatever follows, one thing is for sure: Paddy is the new star in the UFC, and he will remain in the spotlight for now.